Mana cluster. Stamina. Radiant enchant. Mana cluster. Ow. Please hit him. Oh my god. Scripted him crawling back to the statue. Is there another phase? Nope. Heresy Purged. Alright, turn the enchants off. Good lord, you have a lot of sustain right now? Yeah, there's one... This Radiant spell right here, Invigorating Aura, is insane. It takes away mana every second to give you health every second, until you run out of mana or turn it off. So during a fight, as long as I occasionally just eat Mana Stone clusters, I just have like really high regen just going constantly. It's funny because I started the game as a fire mage, but now I play like a paladin. Oh, that's right. I didn't even go Umbral that time. Oh, now I can tab target his ankle. Seven fingers. Alright, we can get his remembrance. Can upgrade this to +10. Let's go to Skyrest and see what his remembrance gets us for boss gear. Let's see, over here. I was turned around there for a second. Does he have a beacon that clones? I think the last beacon, actually. Infernal Decree, Reign of Infernal Sword spell. Melted Crown. Medium armor. Heavy Memento. It's a... Oh, the big statue thing. You can use it as a shield. Part of a broken stone statue. 40 strength requirement. Very high blocks. Queen's Head Hammer. A crude hammer topped with a head from a statue of Queen Sophicia. Big ol'... It does fire damage and strength damage. Just to see what it looks like. Chad, that's a shield. It's literally a statue. It's literally the statue. That's kind of funny, honestly. The weight is stupid. Where's the queen's head thingy? That's the queen's head on a stick. That's the heavy attack. Interesting. Alright, you have anything new to say? Do I have the stuff to upgrade? No, I don't.
Let Aureus's will be done.
Alright. And let's see, upgrade character. Just endurance. Warp. Who's Aureus and why do I want to know their will? I don't know. I do not know. We're gonna Diablo up there at the top of the stairs. A deer, the bear.
I look upon you with pity, my lost child. For you have been deceived and enslaved by forces who regard you as nothing more than an instrument through which they might enact their blasphemous will and prevent my rightful return.
Is this the devil begging
They
for mercy?
speak of light while offering you nothing but blindness. Weak hypocrites relying on the malignant power of Umbral. With one breath, then decrying it with another.
Okay, I feel like this is probably related to an evil ending or something.
They brand me evil, a tyrant, and yet I offer you something they will not. A choice. Reject the fanatical crusaders and the deranged servants of the self-proclaimed judge. Dismiss all of their false dogma and the torturous mission to which they have bound you. And only then will you know freedom. And if you would hear it, the truth.
Okay. I think the beacon... Where's the beacon? It's right there. How do I get up there? That red beam is the beacon. Am I supposed to go in here to continue the story? Or is this like a different ending? If you don't have a choice, go in and beat the final boss. If you do have a choice, then decide which ending you want to fulfill. I guess I missed a beacon up there? Hold on, is that nearby? I mean, that's like so many miles above me. I don't know how to get up there. Is there a staircase nearby? If you want one of the endings, you need to clear the last beacon. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how close am I to the last beacon? I don't know how to get to it. Oh, come on. Bartholomew's hammer. How many beacons are there? How many did you do? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think some of them were blocked by the mountain. I think I did 5 or 6 beacons, and there's one more red beam, which is in that structure. So it's like right above me. I just don't know how to get up there. Hang on. Let me look at this terrible walkthrough and see if there's anything here. Bramus Castle does not have a beacon? Yeah, wait, it says when all beacons are down, it's time to finish the Light Reaper and unlock Bramus Castle. Okay, I had to get all the beacons down to get here. So maybe this one's just related to this guy, whatever he is. I'll just assume that, I guess. The lamp on the bottom right flashes sometimes. Is that an indicator that the stuff nearby you can use it on? Yeah. Why did you just take 5,500 damage? Yeah, it flashed a minute ago because I ran over one of the flower patches where you can put a seed to make a respawn point. I'll enter the Rogar realm. Which apparently has the final boss, because I just read that by accident. I was just trying to figure out what to do. I opened the portal with the power of butterflies. That's a lot of dead people in candle wax. Warhammer would love it here. Yo, that's the guy from Half-Life. I wondered what happened to him. What? Whoa. That's a big fella. Or gal? I can't tell. Hey? Adir the Bereft Exile.
Why do you refuse to open your eyes to their manipulations? To millennia of shameful distortions of the truth. For eons, I stood as mankind's guardian, shepherding them with wisdom and love. Yet in return, I was betrayed. Those 3 power-hungry malefactors who declared themselves judges turned my own children against me and waged a terrible war of needless slaughter. The judges and their crazed followers butchered those who remained loyal to me. And when I created the Rogar, the news took them into the madness. They too were no match for the heathen forces. In the end, even I fell. Although the judges found themselves unable to kill a god, despite their best efforts. In a world left blackened and corpse-choked by the crusade, the judges banished me to this barren realm, which has served as my prison ever since. Meanwhile, mankind set up.
Dude, is this fight just him talking and fighting ants?
From the divine oppression.
I can't even pay attention to what he's saying. I wish I could hear it.
How little time passed.
But I'm a little focused on this other
Themselves
crap.
were raised to the status of demigods. Figures of
Yeah, all I heard
worship,
was demigods. What, can you start over?
all too clear. Yet an outcome. The people manipulated themselves into believing a triumph. How much blood has has been spilled in their names since my banishment. Far more than was ever spilled in my name.
Something about spilled blood.
And now, after all the time mankind have had to shape their own destiny, see what they have made of it. War, greed, hatred, suffering, chaos. They believe they were capable of guiding themselves, but have been proven sorely mistaken. Mankind needs me now more than ever.
Mankind needs a better final boss fight.
And what of other beings who claim godhood? Where are they? What of Aureus and the abhorrent umbral creature?
Okay, you said something about demigods earlier, now you're talking about godhood. I really need you to, like... Can you start the speech over?
Unworthy of their presence, their communion. And yet, here I stand before you with true words to open eyes. For I love all of my children, even wayward ones.
Got a debuff or two on me, chat.
You must stop this before you allow yourself to condemn all of mankind for eternity. I am not your enemy, only what my own enemies fear. The loss of the dominion they have established for themselves in my absence. Cease your misguided
That regen is
violence.
nuts. Yeah, I'm using it like quite a crutch right now. I admit it.
You are in the presence of a god.
It allows me to play very recklessly.
I formed you from nothing and can just as easily destroy you. Yet you would dare defy my will. The world in which you exist is my world, my home, and yet mankind, my own creation, exiled me from it. You have no idea what it is to suffer such a monstrous betrayal.
I know what it's like to suffer. I'm dealing with you right now.
Ages of torment which follow. I look upon you with pity, my lost child. For you have been deceived and enslaved by forces who regard you as nothing more than an
What did you
instrument
say before
through
all that?
which they might enact their blasphemous will and prevent my rightful return.
Phase 2? Opened up a black hole in his chest. Don't be dead. Do not be dead. What is the next phase? Bro. The light of the Umbral knows no satiation, consuming even a god. Aureus' will done by his heresy-tainted champion. He said taint. Rewarded only with annihilation. Bro, is that the end? A lore bomb I can't listen to and fighting a bunch of ads? With renewed influence, Aureus unleashes his radiance to purify those deemed transgressors. What are you talking about? In light, they fall. Who? Who fell? Who's Aureus? Who was a deer? Who was I just fighting? What the hell was he talking about? Who were all the naked people I was beating up? Did I just break into a nudist colony and just go crazy? Like, what is happening? You unlocked a new class. What? Radiant Purifier, a martial priest of the Church of Orion Radiance whose rigorous training in matters spiritual and somatic serves him in unflinching cleansing anything deemed anathema to the Church and Aureus. An offense-focused class vulnerable to physical harm but with a greater tolerance for magical damage. Do you want to begin a new journey? No. Can I look around that room, or does it just eject me? Hang on, let me go back up and look at this thing. Okay, let's try talking to the people in town. Go Umbral. That's actually not a bad suggestion. Hang on. Everything's spookier, but... Warp to... Let's see if the people in town say anything different. See if they're happy or sad. I don't even know if that was a good ending or a bad ending. I didn't understand what he was talking about, and I missed most of the dialogue because I was fighting. If any game devs happen to be watching my stream right now, I strongly encourage you, do not have important dialogue said as a long speech while people are fighting for their life. They can't focus on the dialogue at that point. Upgrade character? That's just like leveling up. That's normal.
This land is overflowing with sin. To offer you also, they are already
This is old dialogue. So they have nothing to say. This guy was in so many cinematics, I thought he was going to play a big role in the game. But he just said hi at the beginning and then walked to this room and became the merchant for crappy radiant spells. Like the level 1 stuff, and that's it. That's it. I guess... I mean, like, I'm sure there's other endings, and, you know, every Souls game has a really cryptic story, right? But this time, more than any other, in Souls, it was a Link the Flame. In Elden Ring, it was become Elden Lord, or, you know, in my case, Blue Husbando. In this game, I have no idea what we were trying to do. You know, like, there was the beacons. They looked dirty. I went and I cleaned them up a bit, you know, spit on it and wipe it down. You know, I cleaned them up a bit. I didn't really know what was happening, though. Time for YouTube to explain? I guess. She has nothing to say either. Okay, that was Lords of the Fallen. Review time. Alright, so for any of you new to my channel, anytime I finish a game, I take a few minutes and I talk about, like, how it was through the whole thing. Lords of the Fallen. Alright. Taking a step back and looking at the game as a whole, the whole game, overall, a lot of it was an enjoyable Souls-like experience. It had a lot of build customization. I love customization. Like, I started off as an Inferno fireball wielding guy and ended up as a sword and board, I'm gonna heal so hard you can't kill me paladin. On that note, I wish you could have respect more. I only ever found one respec item to respecialize, to like redo your stats. One in the whole game. The whole game. Now, I'm sure there are a couple of other, I could Google where to find them, that kind of thing, but on my playthrough, I found one. So I was able to respec one single time. I wish there had been more. That's kind of silly. It doesn't need to be that rare to allow people to try other builds. So that's kind of crazy. Parry in this game, parry worked, you could parry, but it felt really unsatisfying. Like, when you would do it, it'd be like, psst, psst, psst. You know, like, that's what it would do. And then, you know, Lies of P, you parry, you'd be like, clang, and you'd break their sword. Like, it was just, like, it made me, it was so difficult to even tell when I would parry successfully in this, because it was so quiet. I just started relying on dodging, which was fine, because the dodging in this game was honestly very generous. It also felt good to use. Like, if you, like, the dodging animation was very smooth. So big props to that. The dodging felt really good. Range attack and lantern using the same button. And not only the same button, the same sequence of stupid buttons. 2, control left click. That's 3 keys. 1, control right click. That's 3 keys. Yes, I can rebind those keys, but the problem is that it's 3 keys. That's insane. Why? Why not just lamp on 1, and then I've got 5 spells. They could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or something. Like, it doesn't need to be that way. So this system down here in the bottom right is awful. Now, I was so happy that in Lies of P, the most recent Souls-like we played before this, dodge and dash were the same button. And I hated that. In this game, they are separate buttons. Great, that's how it should be. But then they combined spell casting, archery, and lamp to all the same button. So it's like they just did the same stupid thing somewhere else. I hate that. You cannot hotkey multiple weapons or ranged weapons or catalysts. Elden Ring, to take an example, you could have multiple weapons on a hotkey and swap between them. In this game, you can't. You got right hand, left hand, ranged weapon, or catalyst. That's it. You cannot hotkey other things. You can't have other ones. So, like, for example, if you want to use a pyromancy spell, I can't use it because this is a radiance catalyst. I need to have a pyromancy catalyst for that. But now I can't use radiant spells. Now there is a ring that allows you to, like, use spells of a different type, but the problem is that it uses up a ring slot. I just would like to have other slots here that I can just scroll between them, just like an Elden Ring I could. It's silly that I can't have others on hotkey. So if I want to, you know, I either need to use one school of magic or no schools of magic or dedicate ring slots. So also there's less ring slots. You know, other Souls-like games you usually have 4 ring slots. This one you have 2 ring slots and you can't hotkey other items, and then you can fix that solution by using one of your only 2 ring slots. Record a macro to a single key and rebind. If I have to do that, I'll play another game. You're right, that is a possible solution, but that's insane that I would have to think about doing that. Lock on. Okay. I'm trying to give this game the credit it's due. There's a lot of awesome things about it. The target lock in this game is the worst I have ever seen. I have to honestly give it that. Worst target lock I've ever seen. The thing is, it was never even consistent. It was like sometimes there'd be like, you know, 3 mobs, and I'd be like, lock on this one, lock on this one, lock on, and I'm like, get the middle one, and then I get shot. Or like there's a near mob and I target something 1,000 yards away. It's really rough. It's really rough. So target lock on is bad. I very much would love to see them fix that. It doesn't need to be that bad. Attacks. This is really weird to me. 2 hand? 1 hand. You stun yourself. So if you're in a narrow hallway swinging at an enemy and you accidentally hit a wall, and if you're using dual wield or one-handed shield, if you accidentally clip a wall in a hallway, you stun yourself. But if you go 2-hand, you can cleave through stone. I mean, part of me is like, yeah, it's nice they gave you an option where you don't stun yourself in tight corridors, but part of me is like, this is stupid. Did they do this on purpose, or was this an accident? Like, is this a bug? Is it a bug that you don't bounce off the wall with two-hand? I don't know. Like, in other Souls-like games, if you were in a hallway, it'd be like, oh, I need to switch to a thrust weapon and not a side-to-side slashing weapon. Because a side-to-side slashing weapon's terrible in tight corridors. You know, but in this game, it's just like, oh, just go two-hand, so you cleave through solid rock. So that's odd. I don't know if that's a bug or just a weird design choice. I think the last thing would just be, like, the mobs. The mobs, there's a couple of weird things about it. One is they reused mobs constantly. Like, and it wasn't that bad, but it was just like, in the first zone of the game, you met the double axe wielding guy, the dogs, and archers. And in the final zone of the game, I was still fighting double axe wielding guy, dogs, and archers. And yeah, there was a few new ones. And they had an interesting system that they did where they would introduce like a new mob type as a boss and then a slightly weaker version of it, but it had the same skill set. That's just a mob from now on. That's an okay way to do it. I don't really have huge complaints on that. But it very much felt like there was way less types of mobs because they just get like the little, when you go into the Umbral, those weak little zombie dudes that are everywhere, I was still fighting those at the end of the game, but at the end of the game they took me like 6 hits to kill. At the beginning of the game they took me 2. So despite the fact that I powered up, they powered up more. Reminds me of Skyrim Draugr when you make too many blacksmithing daggers and they level up 20 times. What do you think about the zones? Beautiful. The zones were beautiful. They were awesome. The detail's amazing. However, that was offset by the fact that I was constantly lagging. There was one zone I remember with a burning city, and maybe it was because of all the particle effects of the flames. I was lagging constantly. Frame drops and stuttering and stuff like that. There was another zone full of smoke. Like, there's some fog right here. There was another zone that was just full of smoke and fog. And I just could barely move. It was just so bad. So the zones and the stuff is beautiful, and the Umbral side is cool. Like, it's a neat idea, but in execution, it just caused so many problems. My computer, according to the specs that this game recommends, should be able to run this game not quite on ultra, but on high. And I have had to turn everything down to, like, low that I could. I guess I could have turned down view distance, but I had everything down to low, and I was, and some of the stuff just off. And I was still getting stuttering constantly, just constant stuttering. This is a minor thing. This isn't as bad as the others. I didn't like that when something died, you didn't automatically get the XP. You had to walk over and pick it up, or you have to wave the lamp around. It's like if you knock an enemy off a cliff, you then had to wave the light over the edge of the cliff to get the souls. And, you know, any time you had to get the lamp out felt bad, because this is how fast you move while doing it. And also, it's like one control click. I have to hold 3 keys while moving at half speed to pick up the XP. So that was really rough as well. So this is not a game where my final grade is, I don't think this is like a trash game. I think it is a very cool idea in a very almost great game, but a lot of small problems, and I really hope for the sake of the developers that they can patch this stuff. Because right now, especially those last few zones, it was just a massive frustration. Like, I just wanted, like, the last hour, I was just running past everything. I just wanted to be done with that area. It was so awful. And then, the final boss. God, what a disappointment. The final boss was someone monologuing, and I couldn't pay attention to anything they were saying because I was getting swarmed. And when I finally beat back the swarm, I was like, okay, now the boss fight will start. And no, that was it. That was the end. The final boss fight was kill 100 weak dudes. So that was a very, kind of like the wind went out of my sails kind of moment. Like, oh my god, really? Like, I just deflated there. Very unsatisfying ending. I think that's it. Yeah. I wish I had more to add. I'm racking my brain right now, but yeah, I hope that they do some solid patches and fix it. It's the game had so much hype leading up to launch. I think they've already, probably more than paid for the development time, and that's awesome. But I think people would be well within their rights to be kind of let down by the purchase. And I hope that because a lot of these issues seem like they'd be fixable. And if they can fix them, then they'd have people satisfied with more satisfied with their purchases, and then no more problems. Like, I think for me, the mid-game of this game was the funnest I had. Like, I started to get a lot of spell options and weapon options, builds started coming together, I was starting to get better in combat, and it was very fun. I would say compared to other Souls games, the bosses were easier, but the trash was harder. Items? Now that I think about it, I guess I have one more thing to say. If you look at the bottom right, every single shield is just a shield. There's no, this shield enhances sorceries, this shield enhances archery, this shield gives you health regeneration. There's nothing magical about anything down here. They're all just block, 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 block. Same with the armor. Other than just protection, there's nothing special about any of this. So I just wore what I thought made me look good. That's it. That's it. So there was a lot of cool things on the weapons, but nothing for the shields and armor. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. If anyone, I'm gonna put this on YouTube as well. If anyone else has comments on their thoughts of it, let me know down below. It was a fun ride. I don't regret my time here, but I really don't have any urge to play it again. Not anytime soon. Maybe if they fix everything, maybe someday in the future, but not anytime soon. But yeah, that's it. That's my thoughts, and let me know yours. I'm curious.